Hi Scorpio, this is your September and October horoscope with me, Lada from astrolada.com. And this is for everyone who have their ascendant, sun or moon in Scorpio. And you can find out your ascendant and moon sign from my birth chart calculator, for which I'm putting a link. But it is important to check at least your ascendant sign. It's the astrologically it gives the most tangible results because it's the most time specific of all the signs that comprise your horoscope. So what is happening in September and October? Well, basically there are a few important trends happening. And the first one is that Mars, from the middle of September, Mars goes into your second house. And it will stay there till the end of October. And when Mars is in your second house, this is when a bit more expenses tend to crop up, tend to appear. Because second house is finances, is resources, is how you handle your money. And Mars is a more spontaneous influence. And it's called the lesser malefic. Because it creates problems. They are not so big though. And they can be fixed usually by the use of logic, by the use of applying yourself. So often when people have Mars transit in the second house, some sudden expenses come up. And don't worry, it's not such a long process, it's like a month and a half. Usually there might be expenses with which you need to fix something, because Mars is the planet of things breaking down and having to repair things, to fix them, to improve a situation. Or you might be also, you have to be more careful when making some investments while Mars is in your second house, because sometimes a person is a bit more doesn't research it enough when Mars is in the second house and tends to buy things which later on they might regret about. So you have to be a bit more careful, maybe consult someone for a second opinion. But at the start of October, there are a few positive aspects that Mars receives in your second house, so you have a chance to improve some of your financial situation. Especially the first 10 days of October, you can have a breakthrough with financial issues. And maybe some more financially tense and stressful situation can improve around the beginning of October because of these positive aspects that Mars receives. And at the same time, another interesting thing that is happening is, just give me a second. Okay. That towards the end of September, the last 10 days of September, there is one very positive aspect happening in your 10th house of career and social status. Jupiter, which is there right now in your 10th house, which is helping you find new opportunities in regard to career, will receive a very supporting aspect from the planet Uranus, which is a very sudden influence. And actually, this happens very rarely. Next time it can happen again for you to repeat exactly the same aspect, might be another 12 or even much longer periods of time, quite a few years before you have the same chance. And in September will be the first out of 3 hits that Jupiter receives a positive aspect in your 10th house, which means that basically now what comes to you towards the end of September might indicate to you what new opportunities and what opportunities will develop in your life in regards to career and social status and work projects throughout the next 7-8 months ahead, because again this aspect will repeat again in the winter, sometime in February or March, and then again in June approximately of 2015. So whatever opportunity in career comes to you now, or windfall, it will be productive and can develop very successfully throughout the next 7-8 months ahead after that, or 9 months even. So be open to those opportunities. For some of you might be a new career opportunity that comes up, a new promotion. It might be quite out of the blue as well. It's not going to be for everyone, but a few people, a few Scorpios, especially Scorpio ascendant people, will tend to feel it quite strongly. And okay, so watch out what the trends are towards the end of September. Around the 25th of September is the exact hit. But 10 days before, 10 days after, you can still have those opportunities that come. And embrace them, embrace them and start working on them, because they're, or at least keep the idea and be open to it, because it might be like a little gift from God. And another important thing is that in September, Venus, the planet of love, the planet of pleasure, is in your 11th house. Whatever Venus is, it shows where you're going to get your comfort during this month, where you're going to get your sense of fulfillment, where you're gonna feel more happy, you know. So Venus will be in your 11th house of social networking and friendships. So your friends can be great support of you. Some benefactors can come into your life which help you. Your social environment, maybe if you get invited to concerts, go, because you'll feel happy and appreciated there. Or whatever social circle you're moving in, you feel more accepted, more affections coming to you from there. You might become even more popular as well. And 11th house rules gains as well. Gains from the hard work you've done. It's not like gains given to you like that without any effort. But if you've been working hard on something, now you can receive some recognition in September about it. You can receive some pat on the back or acknowledgement, or even a bonus, or even a financial reward for this, or even some title that can come to you. And then Venus goes into your 12th house in October, and most of October it will stay in your 12th house, which is, some of you might feel much more stronger hidden desires within of them awakening, which they are not willing to officially state to others. Maybe an affection that you develop to someone that you're still not fully clear about, or you want to keep it a secret, or maybe some secret relationship that happens behind the scenes, which feels very kind of pleasing, fulfilling, or it might be even a relationship that's happening in your imagination, and it needs to come towards November, when this thing can come into fruition, when it can come into fulfillment, into more practical realization. And also, when Venus is in the 12th house, we are asked to support women, to give help to women in need, or you might even donate to female charities that are connected to female issues, or just be of support to a friend, female friend of yours who needs your, who needs your attention because you're earning good karma like this. And at the same time, when Venus is in the 12th house, we can receive good karma for things that we have done way in the past we've forgotten about. Maybe you helped an old woman cross the street 10 years ago, and now someone can pay you back. Maybe something you've done in a past life, and you can receive some hidden support that you didn't expect in October, which is like a karmic gift to you. And at the same time, when Venus is in the 12th house, one becomes much more romantically inclined. But again, as I said, it's more like imaginative romanticizing. The imagination becomes more fertile. People enjoy much more spending time isolating and enjoying their favorite like movie, or their not so much, while in September you might be much more socializing and getting fun from socializing. In October, when it comes, you are receiving much more enjoyment and pleasure from being private, from retreating a little bit. And October might be a month for a lot of Scorpios, especially the first 20 days, when Scorpios kind of retrieve a little bit more, because the Sun and Venus is in the 12th house, which means the house of rest, of relaxing. So a lot of Scorpio feel a little bit less motivated, a little bit more tired physically. And it's not recommended to start anything new before the Sun moves into your sign in Scorpio, which is from November basically. When November comes, you can initiate the plans and the ideas that you have. Well, in October, if you can take a break, you enjoy there, you enjoy being more isolated in your own private company or with very close and dear people, taking a rest, going for walks, going to cinemas, going to relaxing a bit more, reading a book. And when November comes, then you start moving forward again. Then things start happening into your life. You start new beginnings in your life. But the interesting thing is that October, there are two big eclipses. And particularly the one that is important for Scorpio is the eclipse happening at the end of October, basically towards the 23rd of October, because it's happening in your sign Scorpio. It's happening in 0 degrees Scorpio, which means that everyone who is from the October born Scorpios, basically those born on the 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th approximately of October, even the 28th, it means for them they'll have a very big changes coming in their life in the next year, because the eclipse is happening around their birthday. So it means that a huge change is to come, especially those born on the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th. Usually a new beginning, an eclipse happening there, or those who have their ascendant or their moon in the first 5 degrees of Scorpio also. It's indication that in the next 1 year ahead, you're going to have some big new things coming into your life. Usually it's a new career, it's a new path in life, it's a new relationships, which is very important. But usually you need to let go of something from the past. So a month before the eclipse, and especially the week of the eclipse towards the end of October, the last 10 days of October might feel very tense for a lot of Scorpios, especially early born Scorpios. They might feel more fearful because the feeling of impending change is always kind of threatening to many people, and they feel like the layers are shifting, and people might feel like they're left in the unknown, in the wild sea, and there's a lot of fears and projections of the future. But I want to tell you that eclipses are fated. This is the hand of God pushing you in where you have to be. If something has outdated and passed its meaning in your life and support in your life, it will be taken away. That's why eclipses come, and something new will be brought, because we often get stuck in patterns and habits that we feel comfortable with but which are no longer productive to us, or in relationships. And when an eclipse comes, especially the early born Scorpios, they will, if they don't have the strength to make the change willingly, the universe will make some shifting of the layers in their life. If they're in an unhappy relationship, it can either go away, or all the hidden stuff can come to the surface, and a new opportunity can come for them as well. So be prepared for a little bit of a rocking of the boat there. And again, I recommend not to start new things before the eclipse passes away, which is towards, you're free to start from the October onwards. So this is what are the most important influences for you, Scorpios. So watch out those finances. Try not to spend too impulsively with Mars in your second house, but it's good for buying machineries, for buying things which are metal, which are ruled by Mars, buying knives, buying kitchenware as well, anything which is made of metal, anything which is connected to fire in some way, or anything which is sharp, anything which is machinery wise, it's auspicious time for buying this. And also Mars rules property, and when Mars is in the second house, people can spend a lot on property, anything connected to property, whether it's repairs, whether it's fixing something, whether it's some renovations as well. So that's another thing. And again, the eclipses is the other big thing that is happening for you in October, that can bring some shifting in the layers of your life. So thank you so much for, and I forgot to mention, of course, Saturn. From September till the end of October, Saturn is moving from around 18 degrees of Scorpio to around 24 degrees of Scorpio, 24, 25 degrees. So those of you who are born, from 18? From around the 10th of November to around the 10th to around the 17th, 18th of November, they're having for the last time Saturn transit. It's been punishing a lot of you. It's been very hard on a lot of you born on those days. So if you have your moon from 17 degrees, 18 degrees in Scorpio to around 25 degrees in Scorpio, from last year or from the beginning of this year, you started a much more heavy period of testing, of almost like paying back karmic debts from the past, almost like things are blocked. You are laying new beginnings of your life, but it's demanding so much of your energy and hard work, and it's either you're overburdened with responsibilities or you feel overwhelmed whether you are able to cope. Some situation maybe went quite stagnant or quite complicated and difficult. Very testing times in different areas of life. Might be career, if it's your ascendant sign, your path in life, your role you play in life, your project. If it's your moon, your emotional life became very complicated, feeling emotional and supporting, having to find new sources of support. If it's your ascendant, brand new beginnings of your life of any sort, even sometimes even health issues and placing new starts. But this process started almost a year ago, and now it will be the last time Saturn completes its influence on you. And this will be the last time Saturn leaves you alone after that. It's the last push, the last testing, and actually after September, October, there will be like a resolution of those problems. Like the sky clears up from above you, and you start seeing the daylight, and you start, all the problems are left behind you, and you've built hopefully a stronger foundation. When Saturn is around for the past 9-10 months, almost a year, you've been asked to work very hard, you've been asked to push yourself to the limit, and It's the last time. There will be like a conclusion of some sorts for you, and you start being able to see the results of this hard work or those big changes that you did while Saturn was around. Thank you so much, Scorpio, and I will see you in November.